as is to be expected, the light is dwindling from the natural light coming through the window, because I'll tell you what, people warned me about London in the winter. They said, oh, it's depressing. I said, no one can depress me. Depression isn't real. But the people were right. It goes dark at 4 p.m. I'm wearing... Okay, I haven't done this in 2 weeks now, so I'm feeling a little rusty. I'm feeling a little dusty. I don't know what's coming out. I don't know what's going on. And I have a couple big things that I need to discuss with you. So let's just get into these stupid fucking opening credits and let's get a move on today's episode, the penultimate of 2025. Breathe in. Welcome to What the Fuchs with Jess Fuchs. Now breathe out. And scream. Because here's what's pissed Jess off this week. Now, I'd be remiss if I did not point out the fact that I am in a white shirt. Now, I do not wear white often. I love wearing a white shirt, a crisp white shirt, a nice, clean white shirt. But I cannot wear a white shirt without it inevitably getting dirty. So I'll tell you what, if this gets a fucking single spittle of color on it by the end of this episode, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what I'm going to do, because it's like, I feel like, and this is not good to say with fast fashion, but it's like every time I buy something that is white, it's a one-use situation. Because sure, you wear something white and it gets a stain on it, and then you put it in the dishwasher, you put it in the laundry, and there's all these fucking products that when I tell you, oh, it's stain out, gets the stains out, shut up. Because even though it gets majority of the stain out, there is still a ringworm, a ring reminding you that you are forever tied, married, hitched to this stain of this little splatter of a fucking soup you ate once upon a time. And sure, you go, oh, you convince yourself, well, maybe if I wear the shirt out, it's such a small stain, no one will realize, no one will notice, surely. And then you go out, you leave the house in the white shirt with the tiny little spriddles of stains, and you tell yourself, no one's looking at it, but you know, so you keep looking down, and then someone goes, oh, I think there's something on your shirt, and you go, I'm going to just kill myself. That's how this is going to go. Or, God forbid they don't notice, but you spend the whole time, the whole night you're out just thinking about it. I don't know anyone who can go outside with a stain and not think about it. I go, you must be a man and woman of God, because you are allowing someone else to take the wheel in a way that I cannot comprehend. I can't think about anything but a stain. It is the same idea to me, something in my teeth. If I've had something in my teeth from the last 30 minutes to, 48 years of my life, I'm thinking about it. I'm moving my tongue over sorry, that's a disgusting sound. I should have tried. There are so many sounds that are just like fine. Like, I know people get annoyed by chewing or by certain like clearing of the throats or whatever. But I think to me, the licking of the teeth has got to be up there with the worst sounds imaginable. Easily. So I'm wearing a white shirt, and I love the rouging of it. I love how it looks. I like it. I've teamed it with a red lip. I've even got a red scarf. Sure, is it a bit matchy? Yes, but I am kneecapped. I am kneecapped on this trip. I only bought a red lipstick, and now I'm hitting the point where I've got extra suitcases that have to be shipped by sea back to Australia. We are girt by sea, Australians. If you're not Australian and you've never heard that is, I think, girt by sea. I think it means surrounded, because that's in our anthem, if you'd believe it. I mean, how are we supposed to be taken seriously as a country when we are putting a word like girt in our anthem? That's a whole other thing that we don't have time to get into. I think that the rest of the world likes Australians, of course. We get drunk at the same rate, and kind of we're the same sort of drunk, obnoxious personality of like British and American. If anything, we have the worst qualities of the Western world put into one. But because we have these goofy fucking accents, no one cares. I mean, I have not met a single person in this country, anywhere in my travels actually, where someone has gone, oh, I just don't like Australians. Meanwhile, I've been traveling with Americans, and people to their face will go, ugh, Americans are the worst. And I'm like, yeah, sing it, bitch. No, I mean, you can go to a hostel, a hotel, a small shack, any part of God's green earth, and you will find an Australian working, living, and escaping their responsibilities. And isn't that fabulous? We are a natural seafaring people. And by seafaring, I mean we fly Qantas, which, by the way, if you work at Qantas, know someone who works at Qantas, or have ever actually engaged with Qantas, the airline fucking company. Can I tell you this? So this past week, I've been winding down my time in London. This episode is coming to you, nay, a few days before I fly back to Australia. I fly back on the 25th, on Christmas, on the birth of Jesus Christ. I fly back. Apparently, they do a lot of like Christmassy shit when you fly on Christmas, and the same for New Year's. Like they hand out champagne at like midnight wherever you are flying over, something like that. So I'm looking forward to what sort of how Santa's going to get through the chimney of the Qantas airplane and drop in some gifts on the 25th, but I have needed to ship my stuff back because, listen to this, girls and boys and theys and thems. What is the child equivalent of they, them? The adult, a man, woman, they, them. What is the girl, boy, they, them? It can't simply be a lowercase. There must be a child version, a ma'am, a sir, and that's the adult version. When I cross over, because now I'm getting ma'amed maybe 10% of the time, but when I cross over to 50 to 60% of the time being called ma'am, I think I'm good. Every time I get ma'amed, that's a nail in the coffin. Every time I'm a miss, okay, fine. Girl, love that. I mean, everyone wants to be called a girl. Well, that's not true. I don't even know. I just don't want to be called ma'am. Miss is fine, I guess. Miss, excuse me, miss. Yep, fine. That's who cares? Move on, Jess. Okay, so I have to ship these I only want to talk about a couple things because we're losing the light and I don't want this to look, I already feel tired. So I can't have bad lighting on top of the feeling of tiredness because my sleeping pattern is all fucked up. I mean, what's new? I think I talk about the same 5 things on this podcast. Bad sleep, being fat, dating. Don't tell me it's only 3 things. We'll put a miscellaneous bucket in there just because sometimes I talk about random shit. Let's say I talk about 4 well-trodden topics here and whatever. I think in some ways people like the predictability. I mean, everyone sits down to watch another episode of SVU where once again this team is trying to solve a problem and it's never the first person they interview, but it's always the second or the third who are guilty. So grow up, get over it. You like the familiarity. It feels warm. Like, just because your life's not changing, no one else is better than you. Look at me. I'm not better than you. I'm boots on the ground. I'm doing my best. Until the day I die, I will be podcasting, telling you about how I am once again angry. What's new? So I'm trying to get these fucking bags. Okay. So I call up because I go onto the Qantas.com website and I go, I need to add a bag. And it goes, well, we do it by kilogram. So for 5 kilograms, which is like, 10 pounds, I don't know. I think it was like $150 per 5 kilogram. So I'm not going to lie to you girls and boys and theys and thems. I have 3 bags to take back with me. I went to multiple weddings. I've been traveling for 6 months. Majority of what I've accumulated that are taking up the space in these bags, I can't lie to you, they are coats. They are beautiful winter coats. I should do a haul. I've bought maybe 4 beautiful vintage coats that are heavy. I'm talking 5 kilos each. I mean, these coats are big boys. I've also bought a pair of beautiful bright blue just clogs. And I've had bad feedback on them so far, but we have purchased them, so we are taking them home. So I've got a lot of those kind of things. And I said to myself, you are not spending your money or time on anything that you could find like at a regular shop. So everything that's coming back with me are like these like disgusting, one-of-a-kind, vintagey things that I have found, or a pair of shoes that I was like, these are awesome and so unique and the sort of thing that I would like wear on stage or to a wedding or something. Because next year, one of my goals, which I know I don't feel good about doing 20 resolutions, but I do want to wear more fancy shit all the time because in Australia I do feel judged when I dress up. I don't feel judged as much here, although it is a bit more suburban than I expected in London. So sometimes you'll walk down the street and like other people are dressed like very normal, like very well adjusted, normal people should dress. Good, function over fit, whatever the phrase is to say, they're dressed for comfort and they look good. So then if I wear something like truly insane, it's like oh my God, we're jumping around because I have been watching this woman who dresses like it's the 60s all the time. And I go, God, I thought I was comfortable being like a little bit of a different person and like the whole like, why are you trying to fit in when everyone's standing out or whatever. I fit in and I have no problem with that. But I thought, okay, I'm kind of comfortable being a little bit more like, I'll wear a little more color than your average person or a little bit more unhinged than maybe your average person just for so many reasons we don't have the time for today. The sun is setting, for God's sake. Okay. But these people who dress like it's the 40s or the 50s all the time, I mean, like proper, like you look up a photo of the 50s style and they're wearing like those puffy dresses with their hair. I mean, the confidence, the commitment to the bit. I mean, you gotta bloody appreciate that. So I try to take these bags. So I go on the website and I try to put my bags in. $2,000. That's more than the flight alone. My flight to around the world was probably like $1,200 or $1,300 for like multiple stops in America, in London, back to London, America, all this shit. Probably $1,200. I found the cheapest thing, which is why I'm flying on Christmas, because it was like $1,200 to fly, cheaper to fly on Christmas than any other day in like December, January, even summer, November. So I think there's no way I'm paying I don't even have $2,000. I'm living off of tuna and fuck crackers and a dream in London these past few weeks. $2,000. You better be on your knees sucking my dick at the gate if it's $2,000 that you want for my stupid shit in a bag. So I do a bit of research. I call Qantas and I go, this can't be right. And the guy on the phone, he's obviously helpless, even though he's on the helpline. They always are, these people. I feel like it's like they just they're reading what's on the website, and I'm like, what's the point of speaking to a person? Which I guess that's neither here nor there. So he goes, okay, I'm going to calculate. I go, it's not calculate. Just give me 2 extra bags, like add bags. Because every other airline I've ever flown with, you just go, yep, I'd like to pay for a bag. Yep, I would like to pay for a bag. And then they tell you, it can't be more than 20 kilos. It can't be more than 25. It can't be, okay, cool, handshake deal. I give you $200. You put my shit on your plane. We get from A to B. He runs the numbers and he goes, okay, so for 2 bags, it's going to be $2,000. I go, yeah, sweetie, that's what I called you about, because on the website it was that. And I thought, surely that's a mistake. And he goes, he literally goes, I mean, you know, when a man whistles, he's shook to his core, because they can't scream, they can't exclaim, they have just been repressing their feelings. So when that whistle escapes a man's lungs, he is shook to his core and he is about to deliver a final blow. He goes, oh, it's $2,000. I go, yeah, can you see how that might be a problem here? You sound like a plump man over the phone. I hate to make an assumption about what your voice sounds like, but you could be Santa for me. You could deliver a present, which is just sneaky, cheeky. Put those bags on my account. No one's looking. No one's looking. So I say, we're going to have to figure this out. And he's like, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. And I said, there is always something someone can do about it. And then I'm like, what's your name? Trying to flirt. No, obviously that's never going to work. If I can tell he's plump, he can tell I'm plump. And I'll tell you what, maybe it's 2 plump peas in a pod. So there's nothing they can do about it. So I start freaking out. I go, I don't have $2,000. I don't have $2,000. So I did a bit of research. I went on the World Wide Web. Now, there are various shipping methods you can do by sea, by plane. That's kind of it. Isn't that incredible? We have so many technologies, and I mean, there's 1,000 ways to plump your lips, but 2 ways to get something from A to B. Why can't we teleport? What are people focusing on cancer for when I can't teleport? Figure that out. Where's the priority list for this for our humans? For our humans, that's how people talk, isn't it? That's normal. I used to be so used to talking to myself because I did this every week, and then the last month I've taken a week off break because I've been so busy and everything's been going on. And so I've forgotten how to talk to myself, which is criminal. I mean, at the baseline of human existence, everyone wants to be, oh, I want a partner. Oh, I want to have a good job. I want this, I want that. You need to be prioritizing yourself, and not yourself in the way of do a face mask. No. Know how to talk to yourself. It is important to talk to yourself. I think being able to talk, yap to yourself is all that matters, because one day when I'm in an insane asylum or an old age home, which hey, could be similar, I'm going to be shaken back and forth, because my family won't come visit, because there's no one in the house. Everyone's having sex in these old age homes. They're all STDs. I'm going to be in an old age home still wondering why men won't have sex with me, and why I can't find someone I actually like the company of. That's going to be me till the day I die. So I need to get used to talking to myself, because you know what? That's the only solution to being in this old age home, just rocking back and forth, to counteract the insanity of, because maybe as people get older, they get more lonely. Makes sense. Less people are around. People are ageist, all that stuff, right? But if you are doing the hard yards, if you are training as a younger person to know how to be alone, rocking back and forth, talking to yourself and keeping yourself fucking company, let me tell you, old age is a breeze. It's a fucking breeze. Oh, and you think that hell, the idea of hell is being in this fiery inferno where you're all by yourself and, whatever picture of hell is. I'm ready for hell, bitch. I can speak to myself. Oh. whatever. I'll talk about the temperature. I'll complain. I'll sweat. We'll make jokes. It's going to be a breeze. So I want you guys this year, for the rest of this year, I want you for the next year, I want you to put on your priority list is to learn to speak to yourself. I think that's actually a really important skill that not enough people in a job interview, and someone's like, what are your greatest strengths and weaknesses? I'm going to say my greatest strength is I can entertain the fuck out of myself for an endless amount of time. You don't even need to give me a task, because I'll just entertain myself at this job and you'll pay me handsomely. Okay, so I found this place that's going to ship my shit from here to Australia. And why was I even bringing it up? It feels utterly irrelevant. But anyway, that's just something. So that's something. Now, the other two things I want to talk about, they're brief. Over the last 2 weeks, okay, which one should we... Let's talk about this first. So I did a work in progress show here in London at a comedy club called Top Secret. I've done a bunch of like smaller shows there with them. And then I was just like, oh, it's a nice location. It's in the city, whatever. I did that on December 11. I had been advertising it, fine, whatever. And I think I sold maybe, like 50, 60 tickets or something like that. But I had so many people be like, oh my God, I can't come. It's like Christmas party. Like, why is every corporate cuck doing the December 11 Christmas party? What's that about? So it was quietly attended, which is all I wanted because it was a work in progress, meaning it is a bunch of new ideas in a very loose order for 2026, which is the show that I'll tour in Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide and Melbourne. I'm trying to think if those are the only 4 places. And then I'm going to try come back to London at some point, maybe do Edinburgh. We'll talk about that next week because next week's episode is going to be like a big wrap up of the year and I have a few announcements I want to make and a few exciting things. So, well, I don't know if they're exciting. We'll see. So anyway, I go to this work in progress. I'd been advertising it like you would have seen it on Instagram if you follow me and stuff like that. It's fine, whatever. Now I get there. And I'm ready to go through my new jokes. I'm actually pretty excited. I've spent some time working on crafting it, putting together a nice little structure, getting ready. And in my head, what I expect is like to go there, have a good time. It's going to be casual, loose, a lot of gays and theys and Jess and girls and just me and just us kind of tete-a-tete because that's my typical audience and I fucking love that. I wouldn't change my girls and my gays and my theys for a fucking second, bitch. For a second. I love my audiences. The people that come up to me, it's an amazing feeling to be on stage talking and see a bunch of people and typically men just staring at me like, yuck, what the fuck? And then to their left or to their right or one behind them or one in front of them is a woman who has the light ignited in her and she is yelping and screaming because she is so excited by what I'm talking about. And the contrast of someone who hates me versus someone who is tickled fucking pink beside him is the most delightful combination. It's kind of what makes the entire experience fun. You know when you have something sweet and salty together and then you're like, holy shit, this tastes fucking awesome. That is what it's like to look out into a crowd and see a man who hates me because I'm simply saying the word period and a woman who is like, I have never experienced someone who realizes my existence to this degree. And the thing is, my joke about a period can be entertaining for everybody. It's actually gender neutral. The same way that a man can go on stage and talk about getting a stiffy in year 10 in front of the whole class or some shit like that. And the women can still laugh because women have empathy. They go, yes, I would be embarrassed if, I don't know, I had a dick and it got hard in front of a lot of people. Why is it that women are taught to empathize or rather sympathize with a man who's on stage and still laugh at his experience? But these dudes hear the word period or see tits or whatever the fuck is going through their mind and they're like, ugh, yuck. I did a show the other night and when I tell you 200 people in this room, packed house, there's been two comedians before me, everyone's settled, everyone's sitting. I go on stage within 3 seconds, the span of a TikTok. This is how bad everyone's attention span is. Within the span of a TikTok, like 3 seconds is how much time people give a TikTok before they scroll. These men get up. 9 men, count them, 9 men stand up, one after the other, throughout the audience and just start walking out. Oh, I've got to take a piss. Oh, I want a drink. Oh, convenient. You've sat for 12 minutes total. Is your bladder so small? Are your nuts so full? Because that's where the urine's got to be. Like, I don't understand. Anyway, so at this trial show, I'm expecting a bunch of gays, theys, girls. Fine. I walk in, go on stage, and there is a man. There's no one in the first 2 rows except for a man in the very center, an old man, not my demographic. And when I say old, I mean 36, 37, whatever. Now, I can't fathom someone being 30, older than 36. If I look at an old person, I go, God, you must be what? 35, 36. They're like, I'm 86. I'm like, I mean, you don't look good. I didn't think you were a good looking 36. I know I can count to 100, but I didn't even know they made them that old anymore. There's a man right in front of me, and the room that I'm in, the stage is really close to the audience. That front row, I mean, he's head to puss. He's in there. And I go up on stage, and of course, in a room full of gays, theys, and girls, of course, I have to call out the fact that there is a straight man spreading arms over each of the chairs next to him, staring at me. So I go up, I go, oh, thanks for coming. I go, okay, we're going to have to deal with this. I point down, I go, we're going to have to deal with this. Who are you? What are you doing in the front row? And he's like, oh, I was paid a tenner, wasn't I? I was paid a tenner to sit here. Yuck. I said, what do you mean? So then, come to find out, next to me, beside me on the stage, are two people. The woman, she's fine. The man, he is the CEO. Yeah, right. The CEO of Slack. Yeah, right. Okay, we'll get into that. And he is, as a joke, paying his employee £10 to sit in the front row for the entire hour of the comedy show. So not only did he go manspread and make everybody else uncomfortable that had also paid for the show, so now they are sitting in rows 3 to 6. So my audience aren't even able to sit near me and give a good vibe. He, along with 25 of his co-workers, have decided to come to my hour work in progress show as their Christmas party. Just a moment of silence to really comprehend what I'm saying to you. Now, obviously not all of your jobs have to be done in front of people. Of course, many of you work an office job or a miscellaneous job, and by that I mean anything that's out of an office to me fits in the category of miscellaneous. I don't really know what other jobs there are. Even my sister who works in an office as a doctor, I go, what is that? Who's doing that? That's crazy. So, not everyone's job needs to be done in front of people, but bend your mind for a moment to understand the idea that I am about to talk about silly jokes. I've also got some more serious topics I want to discuss. And in front of me is a 36-year-old married man with hand tattoos. And when I say hand tattoos, I mean on the back of his hand, he has a lion. Hero. What a cool dude. Sick, bro. And there's 25 people who are there for an office party. The thing about a Christmas office party is what you need for it to be successful is for all of you to be in a bar, drunk, flirting with people who aren't your significant other and shit-talking everyone else you hate. That's it. But for some reason, it has been a popular thing that you take your co-workers to an event. And yes, take your co-workers to some sort of activity. Fine. Where you can drink and schmooze. Fine. Do not bring your co-workers to a fucking comedy show. Or, if you want to, you hire a comedian who will give you a personalized show so it can devolve into mayhem. Do not burden the other people in the world with your stupid Christmas bullshit. So anyway, it ended up just being an absolute fucking mess. And by mess, I mean it was fine. I handled it. I made fun of them, but they got a private show for £5 each, which is like criminal. I mean, I said to them at one point, I go, all of you need to be giving me cash at the end of this because this is ridiculous that you've come here for £5 and you're ruining 30 other people's experience. Anyway, what I like is, so I'm talking about I was talking about working, and at one point I said, I used to, at my job, like on Slack. And as I'm saying on Slack, they're all like, oh my God. And I go, what? And they go, yeah, we work for Slack. He's the CEO. So this guy has brought his team. Also, Slack's a huge company. There's no way. Anyway, so I'm making fun of them, la la la. Now, at the end, I literally go off stage as fast as I can. And these 3 girls, and this is why I love having women as my key demo. There is no one who operationalizes who gets their boots on the ground faster than a woman scorned. And by extension, friends, fans, of a woman scorned. These women at the very back saw me struggling the entire time to deal with this man who every time I say anything, he groans. Every time I'm doing a setup for a joke, he literally at one point, I'm mid-reading a joke to get ready for the next joke. I'm checking my notes whilst talking and he goes, can you get him to open the bar? First of all, cunt, I'm not admin. I'm the star bitch. Second of all, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. So these women are watching me fighting for my life here. Now, what I love is I finish, get off stage, and these women come up to me and they were like, "You were awesome. That was so fun. Thank you." He is not the CEO of Slack. I go, "What do you mean?" They go, "We Googled it." And they show me they Googled the CEO of Slack. They're fact checking this guy. They're spending their extracurricular hours making sure that this guy is ripped down. And if that isn't female friendship, if that isn't solidarity, if that isn't we have been in this, we have seen this kind of disenfranchisement for generations as women, and we are coming to battle. I mean, in that moment, we were a fucking sisterhood. Anyway, so that was just an insane experience. And you know what? I am proud of myself for handling it well. I made fun of them and stuff like that, and I kept trying to do my jokes. I did get thrown, I can't lie. I got thrown a little in the sense that my expectation for that was to come up, be able to do a lot of my jokes, get my show ready to then bring it back to Sydney, because I'm doing a first run of it on the 23rd at the Comedy Store. If anyone's here in Sydney, please do come along. Tickets are cheaper because it's very rough trial show, and I won't be performing in Sydney from once that show's done in January. I'll probably do a show in May, so that's going to be your only chance to see me in the first half of the year. But it was just, so I wanted to get more ready and done for then obviously the Sydney show, so that I come back and can do a pretty decent show. So I was disappointed that it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but I think, I don't know, I guess that's the thing with expectations, is when you have, when it's too high, or just when you have something. My friend was the other day, we were talking about just whatever stuff, and she was like, I think the thing with expectations is you kind of have to have some stuff that you're working toward, but you can't have it, you can't be so you can't strangle something to death with what it should be, you kind of have to have a loose grip. And I was like, that's not my style. I'm a tight-gripped girl, okay? I'm controlling. So before I go, I want to tell you the other thing that I did this week, last week. I had my first adult dinner party with a bunch of adults, and I made them dinner, and I cleaned the house, and I bought flowers, and I'm sitting back at one point looking around going, this wasn't worth it. This wasn't worth it. Whatever. No, it was actually fucking fabulous. And I should have worn a 1960s dress and been a Real Housewife vibes, but because I'm away from my regular scheduled clothing, shoes, I had to just dress in regular clothing, which is a huge bummer. But God, I'll tell you what, I fucking love hosting. I think I am built to be a host. I think I love to be a host. It is so much fun. First of all, the cooking, I cooked. The only things I know how to cook are noodles with tomato and onion and cheese. That's what I eat most of the time, okay? The other thing I know how to cook is an omelette. I am not a put spices and marinated meat, and no, I don't like rules. I don't like order. I don't like structure. I am utterly bored by it. But I cooked. I followed a fucking recipe. I followed a TikTok recipe. I literally put my phone above the stove and I just said, unlock indefinitely and keep playing this fucking recipe so I can follow it as we go. I will say the chicken was incredibly dry, and I think everybody who came to the dinner was very sweet, because no one would admit they weren't they said the rice was good and all the other things. I made a charcuterie board and all the other stuff was good, which it was true. Everything was good except this chicken, which is heartbreaking, because then I had because no one, I mean, there were 4 men there and they barely ate their chicken. I was like, boys, come on. I factored in that you guys would eat a lot and they just didn't. So that was heartbreaking, but the food was good. The company was fabulous. We had a good time, but God, to feel like a real woman or a real adult. The one thing I'll say about hosting, and me and my friend were talking about this, is how many times have you been to someone's house and literally they don't offer you water or just the basics? And I'm like, is it that complicated? Is it that complicated to host? And host, just think about this. What do you need as a human? What are the necessities? If you tell me to come over at 4 p.m., we're going to have an afternoon and a hangout. That to me is have some snacks. That to me is have a plan. If we're planning, God forbid we plan to hang out into the evening, have a fucking plan. Not to mention some of the people that came to the dinner party had flown from America to London. They were here for a couple shows to watch and just here for a bit of time. I'm putting on a show for you, bitch. I had another friend who lives an hour and a half away. They traveled an hour and a half, and if they were going to get here and not have hummus, tzatziki, and cut up vegetables, as if you're a dignitary. Welcome to my home. Welcome to my palace. If you don't know how to host, no. I'm not going to criticize. Maybe you never saw how to host. And my parents aren't necessarily the best hosts in the world. They're good. They put on a spread. They know how to offer drinks and whatnot. They're great. They're basics. The basics. That's it. But to me, I mean, look, to be a superior host, you have to have a certain kind of intuition, which I believe I have. I believe I would have made an incredible bearded woman. No. I mean, I would have, and I did for a long time before I got full body laser removal. I was a great bearded woman. I believe back in the day when gays were marrying women just to cover things up, I would have loved to be in a lavender marriage. God, I would have hosted the shit out of things. Your little gay husband, you guys crawl into bed together at night. You're spooning, perfect. He doesn't want to touch you, perfect. You're full. You don't want him touching you. You feel bloated. But you know what you do want to touch? Oh, the neighbors who came over. Their marriage looks rocky. Oh, and what about your friends who came out from the city because we're in the suburbs? Because my gay little husband, he's overcompensating for being gay, so he's pretty high up at this company. He's making good money. Imagining us as Mad Men characters right now. Just imagine that. I don't know what decade that is, but that's what I'm imagining. We've just had a beautiful dinner party with a Pyrex dish, and now me and my gay little husband are sleeping in the little suburbs, and then he goes into Manhattan, and he has sex at the baths with the other men. I don't give a shit. He's providing me a beautiful life, and I'm providing him a hostess with the mostess. And then at the end of the day, what holds true and steady for me and my little gay husband is every night we get in bed and we gossip. Gossip is fulfilling, if not more fulfilling than sex. Good gossip. Think about times when you've hung out with men and then they tell you kind of gossip, what they think is gossip. Oh, so and so and so and so broke up. Okay, so you're edging me now because you've got no other details for me. My gay little husband is getting all of the details. They know how to gossip. They have the strength of a woman in them with the gossiping. So they get all the necessary details. They're doing the hunting and the gathering. That's what we need. We need the perfect combination. We need these like soft little gay boys as husbands. That's what I want. I wanted a 1950s, 60s marriage with a man who's masking his homosexuality. One of my favorite things is seeing a gay man who's flamboyant go butch on the phone. It's one of the most shocking things in the world. I don't know. One of my gays in particular, he did it when he was a younger gay. He's a little more mature now, so I think he's more comfortable with himself. Now, we used to be hanging out, screaming, squealing, him being gay, me being girl. And then all of a sudden he'll pick up the phone and go, hello. And I'm like, who the hell is this straight man in my room? I've let him in too deep. Why are you going butch on the phone, sweetie? Be yourself. But that's what I would have wanted. Because what a fun life. Tell me, I've just painted a perfect marriage as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, lavender marriage, pro, tick, tick, tick. I'll marry, happy. So anyway, I hosted this dinner party. Now, I haven't really thought about this too deeply, but I just want to say that if you are someone who does not feel like hosting comes naturally to you, here are some top tips. I have not thought this through. So I don't know what's going to come out. Number one, have a little something ready for people when they arrive. Now, that could be a little charcuterie board. That could be a warm bowl of nuts. Whatever it is, if it's cold outside, have something warm inside or something room temp. If it's hot outside, have something cold. Oh, maybe some, watermelon. I don't think that's true because I don't think you serve watermelon before dinner, but you get my point. Have a little something. Okay. Tip number 2, offer drinks. It doesn't need to be alcohol. Just give them something to hold, because whilst you're fussing around the kitchen, and keeping in mind, I am giving these tips for someone whose kitchen and living room are the same room. And if you are outside of that, if you have a separate kitchen, living room, I want to say congratulations. I want to say you don't need to be listening to me in your spare time. I want to say, how the hell did you become so successful to have 2 separate rooms like that? But the classic combo, I'm going to say, kitchen, living room, 1 fucking room. It's a collision room, okay? That's what we've got, a kitchen, living room, a kitsch room. Whatever we've got, they're 1. Okay. Beautiful. They're twins, not identical because they're next, whatever. You get it. I don't have to stop over explaining. You don't know them anything, Jess. So you want to offer them something, because while you're still flitting around getting the final touches on the main meal, they're standing there and you don't want them picking things up. They're here. Kick back. Enjoy. So you give them something to hold so that they feel a little bit important, because otherwise they're going to want to feel important and helpful by picking up a spoon, and you don't want them fucking with your system. Give them some water. Give them some wine. Whatever. Now, if you've got a bunch of strangers coming together, which is what my dinner party was, this feels forced, but you're going to give context. You're going to go, I know this person through this. You tell them something about this person. Oh, we actually went to college together, but now she lives in London. This person, they do comedy, they met because of this, blah, blah, blah. so that when you turn your back, your little guests, your little rats have something to scurry over and chat, so that it's not going from zero. You're lubricating. You're putting a bit of lube, a bit of KY jelly in the space so it's not so uncomfortable. The thing is, you're going to have a bit of chit-chat. You're going to whatever. Then when everyone sits down, the food. Now, I did a bit of a buffet style because let me tell you that the place where the kitchen is where the table is. So you could basically turn back, scoop the slop right onto your plate. No worries. We did a little buffet. Also, I had decorated the table. I did some high candles. I did some low candles. I did a little flower pot in the middle. You don't want the flowers to be too tall because you don't want people not being able to see each other over. We've all been to a wedding where you can't see the person opposite you. Ugh. An awkward situation, already more awkward because now I'm trying to see you through stems. What? And then you know what the other thing is, and this is the only other thing I'll say, is like, I actually don't mind cleaning up while everyone sits around because then it doesn't break the flow. And you can also, again, kitchen, living room being one, you can kind of like talk whilst you clean and whilst you, not even clean, I clear everything away so that there's more space. And this is not something I typically do, but for this little dinner party, I bought some IKEA makes Christmas, what are they called? The houses, Christmas house, gingerbread houses. I saw a woman on the tube carrying an IKEA gingerbread house and I thought, I want to do that. So that's why I made the dinner party. I said, come over, we're going to make gingerbread house. So when they came over, we all sat around and we were decorating it and we were having a blast. And it was so nice. You know what's crazy? It was so nice because I had two comedians and one of them has a fiance. So they came. Then I had a friend from college who her husband couldn't come. He was sick, but he would have gotten along with those boys. And then I had my friends who were here from America. So it was this like real random combination of people. But it was so much fun. And I think because I was hosting, I was making sure everyone had enough water and alcohol and food and all this stuff. It just felt really like jolly. And also, know this, the start of the dinner party is always going to be a little more awkward. I went to a dinner party a couple months ago when I was in New York and it wasn't awkward, it wasn't bad, but it is that thing where it's like at the start of the night, it is very forced, especially when you don't know anyone. Because I sat down and I didn't know anyone at this other dinner party. And then we all took edibles and were having some drinks, so it loosened up and it was really fun and then like whatever. But it is definitely one of those things where it's like, you are hosting and it takes a lot of effort, which I like because basically hosting, I don't know, I just think if I lived in a world where it was like women couldn't do anything, like we couldn't be comedians or whatever, it's like, I don't know, I probably would have just been a milkmaid. I reckon if it was like old Egypt time, like I know everyone thinks, oh my God, I would have been Cleopatra. No, bitch, you would have been a milkmaid. You would have been a fucking person who died at 20 because you got whipped whilst building a pyramid. Like that's not, most of us in the past, if there was reincarnation, would have been the lowest of the low. I mean, there have been more peasants alive than any other kind of person. Let's be fucking real on that. So it's like I would have loved to have thought of myself as like a lady in waiting of like Cleopatra, but let's be real, I probably would have been some big titted bitch who tended to the cows and then made fucking, I don't know, mead in the barn and had sex with all the farm hands. I mean, whatever. You can't escape who you are at a certain point. Realistically, I'm living in the best timeline to be the woman that I am. This wouldn't have done well in any other timeline. I don't know if the personality, some of my friends, I go, you should have been born in like the 20s. One of my friends in particular is she would have been in like the 1800s or like the early 1900s, like really early, where like rich men still took artists or like women on as like muses and would just pay for them to live lavishly in a beautiful apartment and douse them in furs. And they would just kind of be these like ethereal, beautiful like personalities that they just like kept on the tax bill. You know, I have a couple friends like that and I go, God, it's a shame you weren't from the 80s, from the 1880s, where you could have just been like, you're just like a little bit of like a concubine or whatever it's called. What's it called? Like a woman. I can't even explain it. But I think in terms of like what my skill set is, this is the only time that it's ever, this is the best time my skill set can get the most out of it. Because a woman like me, a loud woman who's charismatic, 100 years ago, I might have ended up being like the head nurse in like a war. Kind of holding men down while someone like gets his leg off. You know what I mean? But this is the time that I can be the most free with my skill set, with my predetermined personality. We've talked enough. That's the truth of the matter. Now, I have one final episode for you for the year. It is going to, no, don't jump scare. It is going to be back in fucking Australia. This was my last London episode. I fly in a couple of days. I will be settled in Australia. I will be doing my final 2026 episode from good old Australia. I already know what the episode's going to be. So it's going to be an interesting one because I've got a few reveals. And I'm not even going to flirt with telling you a little bit. You're going to have to listen. So I want to say have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful week. Have a great holidays if you celebrate Christmas. Have a great time off if you don't celebrate Christmas, but you're just having some time off work. You deserve it, sweetheart. I'm looking down. I think we're stain free, so I don't have to kill myself. So that's a win for today. And sometimes it's about taking the small wins. Righto, better be off. As always, love you lots like jelly tots. Mwah.